best in news, sports and entertainment. We got everything you need and so much more, yeah.
98.5 FM.
Oluyole.
98.5 FM.
Hear me now. To your dial to the #1 station. Educative and quality information. Brighten up your day in so many ways. Tune to 98.5.
Oluyole. 98.5 FM.
98.5
FM. Oluyole. 98.5 FM. 98.5 FM.
Oluyole FM. Onjalala. Onjatoroto. Oluyole FM. Òkìlẹ̀ létí. Oluyole FM ó báradọ́gba kìíní sìn bí ọmọ àwélé ó já gàràgà ní fara olùkọ́yìn tètò tó ń ti ròyìn ní yùngbà ajídára bí ìṣù ẹ̀lú fi ká fábẹ́lá tẹ̀ 98.5 FM ìkòkò ọbẹ̀ fún gbogbo ẹlẹgbẹ́ tó kù máa gbọ́ lọ.
Ilé tuntun olùsínà ọ̀nà láì mo tún dé bíná bá ń jó lóko mọ jàlárì ní wí fún ọ nílé mo dé bí mo ti dé lórí afẹ́fẹ́ lọ́jọ́ gbogbo ọba Òdùmarè tó láyé nìtẹ́ ìdájọ́ kó mú gbogbo wa wà láàyè. Ilé tuntun ilé ìwé ìmọ̀ràn mi ò ní dálé lórí bú ọ̀dà ẹ̀gbọ́n kẹ́lẹ́ bá mọ ìtumọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ mi. Oorun ọjọ́ kan tí mo sùn ló fa sábàbí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ yìí. Ilé tuntun ó ṣe pàtàkì púpọ̀ gan ni ká mọ tí ń jẹ́ ilé tuntun. Ẹ máa bá mi bọ̀ nínú àṣàrò ọ̀rọ̀ ìjìnlẹ̀ yìí kẹ́lẹ́ bá mọ wúlẹ̀wúlẹ̀. Ohun gbogbo tí ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nílé dúníyàn yìí ó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lódìlódì ni. Ọmọ ọ̀gbọ́n ti bàbá máa ó tojú sú ni. Òbí gan ò sì fẹ́ àwọn ọmọ sójú lásán wá ni. Ìrúkèrúdò tí ń ṣẹlẹ̀ káàkiri àgbáńlá ayé oúnjẹ ayé wa wípé àsọtẹ́lẹ̀ ń kànlẹ̀kùn gbọ̀ngbọ̀ngbọ̀n. Kùránì wí ó ní nígbà tó bá dìrọ̀lẹ́ ayé ohun gbogbo tí ó máa ṣẹlẹ̀ lódìlódì lohun gbogbo ohun tí ti ń rojú ayípo ohun gbogbo tó ti ń dùn tẹ́lẹ̀ rí níṣe lohun gbogbo ayípadà tí á dẹ̀rọ̀ ọ̀kàyà. Ẹ̀yin ọ̀gbọ́n tí Bíbélì wí pé pópin ayé bá ti dé àpẹẹrẹ tá a máa rí láàrin ara wa ohun gbogbo ni a máa yí padà ní dúníyàn. Ọba máa lérè ogun síra wọn orílẹ̀-èdè ọmọ gbé ìgbéraga pẹ̀lú orílẹ̀-èdè tí wọ́n jọ ń gbé ó tojú sú àjàmọ́ wa. Bíbélì jóyè wa wípé ìtàjẹ̀sílẹ̀ ó pọ̀ lọ ṣe é wá rí i pé òpin ayé ń kànlẹ̀kùn ní gbọ̀ngbọ̀n. Àwọn òwe mímọ́ ìjóyè wa wípé akọ́ ọmọ sakọ akọ láwùjọ wa gbogbo tá a ti mọ̀ pé ó tọ́ ní kálukú wa wá yàn láàyò. Gbogbo àpẹẹrẹ ìwọ̀nyí gan tó wà nínú ẹ̀sìn àbáláyé wípé àwọn ọmọ sábà ń tẹ àwọn awo ṣe é wá rí i wípé ilé ń tó lọ. Gbogbo ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ tí ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nígun ló fa sábàbí ohun gbogbo tí ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lódì òdì. Ìròyìn tí móríwú tí fini lọ́kànbalẹ̀ ò sí láfẹ́fẹ́ mọ́. Gbogbo ìròyìn tá à ń gbọ́ àgbọ́gbarímú níròyìn ojoojúmọ́ fún wa. Ọwọ́ yẹ ká ronú wípé ilé ń tó lọ. Gbogbo àpẹẹrẹ ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ìrọ̀lẹ́ ayé gbà tí ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní dúníyàn. Mo sùn oorun kan oorun òkùn mi níṣẹ́ ni mò ń mí kanlẹ̀ nígbà gbogbo. Mo wá rí i wípé Olúwa ọba ló tó sádi. Ìgbà yìí ni mo tó wá mọ̀ yìí pé Olúwa ọba ni ń bá fọ̀rọ̀ lọ. Mo béèrè lọ́wọ́ Olódùmarè wípé ibo gan láyé ń lọ. Mo jáde síta mo jáde ta lóru gànjọ́ bóyá mo lè rí di ọ̀rọ̀ ni. Ojú sọ́mọ̀ tí wọ́n gbójú wò lókè dúdú ló dúdú lọ bátakún. Òṣùpá kọ̀ kò yọ ìràwọ̀ gan ò farahàn lọ́jọ́ ọ̀hún. Mo súnmọ́ wájú bóyá mo lè mọ̀ di ọ̀rọ̀. Lójijì ni mo gbọ́ gbà lóru gànjọ́ ire ni mo rí olùlẹ̀ látòkè ń kí la mú mi rí ẹ mọ́ bá mi ká lọ. Ẹ jẹ́ ń túṣu délẹ̀ ẹlẹ́kòkò kẹ́ ẹ lè mọ̀ di ọ̀rọ̀. Àìmọye ẹlẹ́ni mo bá wọn rí níbi tá a mú mi lọ. Àìmọye ẹlẹ́ni ò ní fèrèsé. Mo rí ilé àlàpà tó pọ̀ lọ́jà burata. Àìmọye ibi tọ́jẹ́ yí pé bá a bá fẹ́ sásì gan bóyá ló lè gbani. Ògiri ilé mi ti fẹ́ yẹ̀ níbi mò ń wí ẹni ọba débẹ̀ ló lè ròyìn. Lẹ́yìn gbogbo ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ yìí a tó mú mi rí bòmíì tó tẹ́jú. Mo rí ilé alárànbarà níbẹ̀ ó jarí. Ilé tó jú rí tẹnu kan fún tọ́bí tótó. Gbogbo àwọn ilé tó wà ń bẹ̀ rí òsí lókè èèpẹ̀ yìí. Ọ̀dà ọrẹ wàá pọ̀. Ọ̀dà ó jẹ́gbin lọ. Tẹ́ ẹ bá wo gbọ́ àyíká ilé tí mò ń wí. Òdòdó pọ̀ lọ jaburata. Níṣẹ́ ni wọ́n ń ṣáná léraléra. Òdòdó tó rẹwà pọ̀ nílé yìí ọkàn mi ń fabẹ̀ ní àìròtì. Mo wo gbogbo lẹ́lẹ̀ nínú ilé yìí dọ́ni tí ń kọ mọ̀nà gẹ́gẹ́ bí gíláàsì tá à ń lò láwùjọ wa. Ohun gbogbo tí mo kúkú rí ní fajú mọ́ra. Mo wá ronú lórí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí títí tí kò yé mi pínpín. Mo yá ìyára ta kankan mo ta mọ́ra pé kí n wọnú nínú ilé tó rẹwà bí èyí kí ìyára máa gbé bẹ̀ ní tèmi bí mo ṣe sún síwájú. Bàbá kan ló yọ sí mi inú afẹ́fẹ́ ló gbàdé ó ní kí n padà sẹ́yìn níbo ni mo mi lọ. Mo ní bàbá ẹ wọlé tó rẹwà ẹ jẹ́ kí n máa gbé bẹ̀ ní kíákíá. Bàbá jẹ́ oyè mi pé gbogbo tá a ti mú mi rí ó ní n tó bí. Bàbá ní pé kò séèyàn tí ń gbáyé tí ò ní ilé nílùú òkè. Ó ní gbogbo rẹ tó rẹwà tèmi ń rí gbogbo ẹni tó bá gbáyé tó hùwà mímọ́ tó ní inú mímọ́ tó hùwà re ọ̀tọ̀ lẹ̀sìn ọ̀tọ̀ níwà kéèyàn lẹ́sìn níwà ló tọ́. Ó ní gbogbo ẹni tó bá ṣe dáadáa ló nílé nílùú ọ̀run. Ó wá jẹ́ oyè mi pé èèyàn tó lẹ́sìn tí ò níwà ńkọ́ àbó oníwà ọ̀lẹ́sìn ni gbogbo akọ́ fi yé mi tí mo ti rí ìní wọn á gbé tí wọ́n bá ti dá lákejì. Àwọn èyí tí mo ń wò bí ilé àlàpà bí kò wá ṣe wù ẹ́ nílé ayé bẹ́ẹ̀ nílé tá a kọ́ fún wọn lálákejì. Ẹjẹ́ ó yé wa ìdí ọ̀rọ̀ rèé ká mọ̀ yí pé ilé tuntun ń bẹ lájùlé ọ̀run. Gbogbo tá a bá ń ṣe nílé ayé ẹjẹ́ àṣẹ tá a fi dé síbi tó dáa tọ́jọ́ bá pé tá a bá lọ ìrìn àjò tá a bá rìn nílé dúníyàn yìí ilé ń bẹ lọ́run kì í sọ̀rọ̀ àwàdà. Inú re ìwà mímọ́ lọ́dùmarè ń fẹ́ gbogbo tá a bá gbáyé ṣe pátá ẹjẹ́ a máa pèsè fábúlé ọ̀run ibi tá a máa dé sí títí tó bá dé bá wa láyé ni mo kúkú sọ. Ìwà tá a máa hù nílé dúníyàn yìí ká máa rántí pé ilé ń bẹ lókè nígbẹ̀yìn. Tó mo tó ti gbódòdó lórí odó mo ti gbódò lọ sódò lọ rèé gódó mo jódòdó lódò mo gbé lódò wá kógo sínú odó pọ̀ lódò ìyó onídòdò lórí lódò níbi títí ń fọ̀ dòdò ọ̀rọ̀ dé ẹni ó fẹ́ là kó gbà. Egbére ní sunkún kágbó ejò ló ní ká fàyàwọ́ kòwé ní túbọ̀ káàkiri ọlọ́ṣídọ̀ lèmi ń jẹ́ àlàdé ń bàbá mi ọ̀nà ayọ̀ mi tún ti là lónìí lágbára láwùrà bí ọ̀nà gbowó pátá ní ọ̀là fáyọ̀.
Ọba ló ládé orí ìlẹ̀kẹ̀ ní tàwọn ìjòyè Olúyọ̀lé 98.5 FM. Kábíyèsí o.
Thank God it is Friday. Yeah, we are having a rollicking time together from 5 a.m. this morning. We started with the program of Baba Shibi about Seed of Christ, thereafter Comfort Live Mission, and we actually come up with the program of Femi Emmanuel Turning Point. Right about now, we are moving forward for the next program. Marketers want us to increase pump price by 75 naira. Dangote. Rivers Assembly resumes sitting. Fubara fails to show up. More of this on Conversation this morning with Tola and Bimbo. You're welcome.
98.5
Conversation.
The program is Conversation on Oluyole FM 98.5 right here in the city of Ibadan. Yes, Conversation is about we at this end dishing you out headlines, stories making the rounds, and we giving our opinions and analysis and views on these stories, important stories making the rounds in the country, around us, and of course across the shores of the country. And of course 98.5 we link with 96.3 FM, that is Okeogun, and Agility 92.1 FM. Yes, Conversation is the program, and of course you can check us up on Facebook. You will meet us there. No one beats that reach. Yes, stories from around the world, stories from within Nigeria, stories from around us, communities. We will dish them out this morning for you to make analysis, yes, through the phone lines when the time comes. Conversation is the program once again, and just stay tuned.
Conversation.
Yes, being back on is my name, and like I said, stories making the rounds around the country, big stories around the country, outside the shores of the country, in our communities, and yes, we'll dish them out to you, make our views, opinions, and advices known, and you have the opportunity of making calls through the phone lines. Yes, there is this story, which is making headlines across the newspapers. We have the Punch, the Vanguard, and the Tribune here this morning. Rivers State, the emergency rule, you know, had been ended in Rivers State, and the assembly resumed sitting. But the governor, which was reinstated, Governor Siminalayi Fubara, failed to show up. Yes, failed to show up. So we don't know what really happened, why he did not show up at I think it is maybe show up at the assembly sitting, or maybe at the government house.
And I'm beginning to think that this thing is beginning to be too much like a case of the authorities, the federal government, and whoever is the authority there right now, taking Nigerians for granted, taking the people for granted. They seem to be telling us that it is when we say that emergency rule ends, it is when we say that the governor has resumed, that is when he resumes, regardless of what the people think, regardless of what the people feel. And this has always been my grouse with members of the political class, getting into that office and thinking that they are God, and then beginning to play God and the rest of us. Now, I say this because of this very arrogant statement made by Mr. Nyesom Wike, the FCT minister. He says, "It will resume." I spoke with him. Your law says it should resume yesterday. That's coming from Mr. Wike.
He said he has forgiven him.
And he has forgotten that it's not just about him.
Yes.
I've always said this, that I've always had this axe to grind with Mr. Fubara for biting the fingers that fed him. Not that those fingers were clean. Yes, I said that those fingers were never clean. But then he chose to dine with the devil, and then you don't turn your back after you have been a beneficiary. But then, for Mr. Wike now, he has forgotten that this is not about him alone. He has forgotten that the governor is not just about him, it's about the people of Rivers State. He has arrogated to himself what looks like the powers of life and death. He has arrogated to himself powers that are supposed to belong to just God alone. And that's why he should have kept silent. After all, the federal government itself has been silent. That was the architect of all this. They've been quiet on whether he should on Mr. Wike's resumption. Like I said, they are making it look as if it is their own internal and private affair. forgetting that this again, like I said, this is about the masses of Rivers State. This is about the people of Rivers State who are confused as to whether they still have a governor or not. That is what will be going on in the minds of the ordinary masses in Rivers State now. Where is Mr. Fubara? Is he in this post? Is he away? Is he even in Port Harcourt at all? And then some people think that that information is for them and for themselves alone, and that this is just about them alone within their inner circle. They see Mr. Wike as that puppet, and they are only the apron strings. And he is now telling us that he will resume. I spoke with him. No law says he should resume yesterday. That is the language. I don't know if you get my drift.
I understand. I know you are bitter about all this, but everybody thinks the way you think, and now the crowd that waited to receive the Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara, yes, they waited. The besieged Rivers Government House waited for hours, about 12 hours, and he and his deputy did not turn up. They were so disappointed.
And if they didn't turn up, people deserve to know why they did not turn up. People deserve to know why they did not turn up. It was the people that voted him into office, not Mr. Wike, not President Tinubu. Why are they acting as if this is all about them and them alone?
Well, now at its first sitting now, I see this again coming as a kind of attack coming up again little by little. The Assembly has urged Siminalayi Fubara to forward Commissioner's list and appropriation bill, and it did not resume yesterday.
And it did not resume. And they are asking someone that they have not seen, someone who has not taken over his seat, and they've not even made any definite pronouncement as to whether he has returned to that seat or not. Not the federal government, not whatever is a semblance of government in Rivers State. We don't know if the commissioners are back. We do not know, or I don't know if the story states the current administrative arrangement in Rivers State right now. Just as there's absolute silence on whether the governor has actually resumed or not, or whether it's even in Rivers State or not as we speak.
Although we heard that he came back, I think 2 days ago.
And nobody saw him.
Nobody saw him. Now, at its first sitting after 6 months suspension, the Rivers State House of Assembly urged the yet-to-return Governor Fubara to commence the process of submitting a list of commissioner nominees for screening and confirmation. The Assembly also asked the governor to come up with an appropriation bill that will address current realities in the state and to ascertain what happened during the emergency rule. The House, through a motion, set the legislative agenda for the remaining session of the 10th Assembly. Appropriation bill, but I think the sole administrator that his tenure has ended now, I think he presented he presented a appropriation bill then before he left. So what appropriation bill are they now asking the yet to return Governor Fubara to present?
I think if you ask me who I go, I do not know him. Alright, I'm coming from Osun State. Says Osun PDP asks Federal High Court CJ to probe suspicious letters on Osun local government funds case. Says it suspects one of the letters was backdated.
Yes, you can see a copy yes, on the front page of the Tribune.
Osun State Chairman of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Honorable Sunday BC, on Thursday raised the alarm over an alleged disturbing development in the handling of the Osun local government crisis at the Federal High Court. The chairman at a press conference in Osogbo expressed concern over what he termed two controversial letters issued from the office of the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court and called for probe of the letters. He said, first, let me say this clearly. Judicial powers cannot be exercised by proxies or by personal assistants. They are reserved exclusively for judicial officers, that is, the judges. Unfortunately, that is the abnormal situation we are confronted with, and which informed this press conference. On the 21st of August 2025, A letter was issued and signed by one Joshua Ibrahim Aji Esquire, who described himself as special assistant to the Honorable Chief Judge of the Federal High Court. Now, in that letter, judicial functions were purportedly exercised, assigning a judicial duty to a judge of the court. This is a gross aberration. A special assistant is not a judicial officer, and judicial powers cannot be exercised either directly or by delegation through such an aid. And to make matters worse, another letter emerged, dated 2nd September 2025. That one was not even signed by the so-called special assistant. It was signed by an unknown, unnamed individual on behalf of the special assistant. The letter purported to assign the case to a judge, something that can never lawfully be done by anyone other than a judicial officer. And even more suspicious, well, according to the PDP, that letter was delivered to the Osun State Council on the 11th of September 2025, more than a week after it was purportedly signed. Well, this is something for the judiciary to do,
yes,
and for them to look into.
Yes.
First and foremost, it is the judiciary that must look into this.
Yes, it is the judiciary. And people have been speaking, like the Osun PDP has spoken, like you read just now.
The federal government ends passport production at multiple centers after 62 years.
Yes.
Well, that's going forward, I believe.
Yes. Lagos Affluent Towers fire, death toll hits 10 as Tinubu, Sanwo-Olu, Obasa, Obi, others none. I think that incident occurred 2 days ago. I think about 2 days ago here in Lagos.
It was a very disturbing video.
Yes.
People were trying to jump.
Yes. Some actually jumped, and some got injured and some escaped it. Following the devastating inferno that gutted Affluent Towers, a 6-story commercial building on Broad Street, Lagos Island, on Tuesday, 6 additional victims were confirmed dead yesterday after the initial 4 persons on the fateful day. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Speaker, Lagos State House of Assembly Mudashiru Obasa, and presidential candidate of the Labour Party LP in the 2025 elections, Peter Obi, had, in separate messages, expressed their condolences to family members, management of Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS), United Bank for Africa (UBA), and United Capital PLC over the unfortunate incident. And the latest 6 casualties were employees of the United Capital PLC, a financial and investment services firm situated on the 3rd and 4th floors of the building. We commiserate with the families too.
And then, well, it also calls to question the effectiveness of our disaster response systems.
Yes.
Many of those people, the injured and the dead, well, I think they actually jumped to their death, and then due for the injured, they were trying to jump from that to the building, and then in such an urban center, of course, there could have been facilities. Well, aside from what is supposed to be the emergency exit facility.
Yes.
And when the firemen came, you could see in that video, they were struggling to kind of rescue people who were trapped in the upper building. There was nothing like a crane or something that a machinery that could have assisted their descent from those high-story floors.
Yes, they were trying. I saw that video. They were trying to use. They tried to use ladders, metal ladders, to kind of rescue people from the upper floor.
So it shouldn't have been just ladders. There are special ladders that are mounted on vehicles that could have extended to those floors, but apparently those were not available. Well, like I said, may the soul of the deceased rest in peace.
Yes, we commiserate with the families.
2025 budget, National Assembly pushes execution of 23.9 trillion naira 2025 capital to 2026. I know that was that story that we had not even finished implementing the 2024 budget. And asked federal government to withdraw circulars on contracts and orders. Okay. So the 2025 24 budget. And notice that it has been executed up to 80%, implemented up to 80%.
80%, just 80% implementation. Yes. Now, remember former Minister of Power and Steel, Oluyole. Yes, he was alleged of a $6 billion fraud. Then his case has been on and on in court. But people always feel that his government had forgotten it. He had been released, or the case has been, swept under the carpet. But he is still in court. Alleged $6 billion fraud. EFCC arraigns ex-Minister of Power, Oluyole. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, yesterday arraigned former Minister of Power and Steel, Mr. Oluyole, before a high court of the Federal Capital Territory sitting at Akpu following his alleged complicity in a $6 billion contract fraud. The anti-graft agency had alleged that Oluyole, who served as a minister between 1999 and 2003 under the administration of former President Olusegun Obasanjo, had, while he was in the position, illegally awarded a contract for the construction of 3,960 megawatts Mambila hydroelectric power station on a build, operate and transfer basis. And he told the court that the contract, which was awarded to a private power company, was done without any budgetary provision, approval and cash backing. That is the present situation of things now with the former Minister of Power, Oluyole.
The travails of Oluyole.
Yes.
Very much at it. And regarding Senator Natasha Akpoti and his face-off with our colleagues in the Senate, well, the NBA has been talking, and it says there, suspension, pendency of suit can't prevent Natasha from resuming as Senate. NBA tells Akpabio, I know that story about the fact that a case, an appeal was still pending filed by Senator Natasha Akpoti herself at the appeal court, and that was the excuse that the Senate leveraged on to refuse her entry, to refuse her resumption, to reject her resumption to her seat in the Senate. They said that suit has to be determined before anything can be done. Now, Senate President Godswill Akpabio has again been reminded by the Nigerian Bar Association NBA that it is illegal for him to use his office to prevent Senator Natasha Akpoti from returning to the Senate after the expiration of her suspension for 6 months. NBA President Afam Osigwe SAN, who said this, argued that notwithstanding the fact that the matter is before the courts, Akpoti Uduaghan should be allowed to return to the Senate since her suspension period has ended. If the suspension has ended, she can return regardless of whether the Senate was right or wrong in suspending her. The Senate cannot use the pending appeal to deprive her of her seat once the actual suspension has ended. And that is not a good position for the Senate to adopt. So I wonder, what is the NBA seeing that the councils to the Senate are not seeing, and the councils to Senator Akpabio?
Well, they will see within themselves. They will see maybe at the end of the day. Now, talking about insecurity now. Insecurity. Again, NEC shuns deliberations on state police, moves to boost food security. Again, the National Economic Council NEC at its 152nd meeting declined deliberations on the pending issue of state police to curb insecurity across the country. It, however, endorsed solar-powered irrigation pumps produced by the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, for national rollout ahead of the 2025 dry season farming. And you will recall that President Bola Tinubu's backing for the establishment of state police had attracted accolades for him from different segments of the country. No fewer than 34 state governors had also expressed their support for the establishment of state police. Although there were expectations that, going by its importance, it will be one of the cardinal things to be deliberated upon at the 152nd NEC, meeting, but a source at the meeting said it was not even in the agenda. Well, it says, I think the NEC wants focus to be on agric to boost food production, especially during as we approach the dry season. And like we had now, solar-powered facilities, to assist in increased production of food.
All right, there are quite a number of stories about Mr. Wiki in the dailies today, and looks like he's almost dominating the newspapers today. Bimbo, and this story is again, like I said, the man seems to be arrogating to himself the powers to determine what Nigerians think, how they should think, which direction Nigerians should go. He seems to be ascribing to himself the full powers to decide what Nigerians want, to decide for them, and to choose for Nigerians. Now, first, it says 2027 presidency, don't allow yourself to be used. He's talking to ex-president Goodluck Jonathan, and there's a rider. It says Tinubu must do 2 terms. So is the one that is sure who is going to win in 2027, and not millions of Nigerians, over 200 million Nigerians. Of course, is the one that is going to decide for every one of us.
Yes, the master planner, the grand master.
And then it says former Rivers State Governor and Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has advised former President Dr. Goodluck Jonathan to rebuff pressures to join the 2027 presidential race. And it says those calling Jonathan now, why did they support him in 2015? They just want to use him to cause crisis. They say some people use you to cause crisis within your own political party. And okay, well, it goes on, and then he also says that increasing is attacking former Vice President Atiku Abubakar over his statement on increasing hunger and hardship in the country. And they said, what do you mean by hunger? Well, you can ask that question because he can never understand what hunger means.
Of course,
at some point
he might not be able to spell hunger.
He does not. Of course, if he doesn't know what hunger means and he's asking that question, of course we can understand. He should not know. He's not supposed to know. A man who rides a Rolls Royce as his official car, how would he know the meaning of hunger? So he says, "What do you mean by hunger?" Things are improving, of course. To say this government isn't working or nothing is being done, you aren't being fair to this government. Did this hunger just start under this administration? You promised to end it, Mr. Wike, you and your government. And more money is going to the states from the federation account, not to Tinubu's pockets. Okay, how convenient. That's Bimbo. Secondly, Bimbo, he says, talking to Mr. Oluyole, you are lucky Tinubu respects the rule of law. Wike knocks Chiwore for calling president criminal. Debunks reports of medical trip over heart failure. So, for Mr. Wike, what would have happened if President Tinubu did not respect the rule of law? Where would Mr. Chiwore be by now? What would have happened to Mr. Chiwore? He doesn't know that what he's saying here is loaded with a lot of meaning. And what would he have done? Had he been the president, what would he have done to Mr. Chiwore? And FCT Minister Barrister Nyesom Wike on Thursday expressed disappointment over comments made by activists and former presidential candidates of the African Action Congress, AAC, Oluyole, calling President Bola Tinubu a criminal. In a post he shared on social media platforms, in particular X, formerly called Twitter. And well, I'm trying to fast forward now. He says in Nigeria, anybody can wake up in the morning and abuse the president, and we are happy. You are lucky you have a president who believes in the rule of law. He also debunked the report announced that he traveled to London on a medical trip over congestive heart failure, insisting that he only decided to take time out to relax, since he had not taken a holiday since his appointment. Well, if people are saying that about him, I think Mr. Wike should just watch it. It means people somewhere or let me just say, it means people may not really be wishing him well. If he travels for a holiday and people are saying that he went for congestive heart failure, that means perhaps that is what people are wishing him. I'm not wishing him that. I wish him well, Bimbo. But then that's why I said they should watch it. If people are saying this about him, maybe that is what that's exactly what they wish for him, and they should tread softly.
Softly, yes, because everybody is beginning to get tired of his moves and himself.
I think his drum is beginning to sound a little too loudly. I know what Yoruba say. When your drum begins to sound too loudly, like it may burst open or tear into shreds at some point. Like I said, I wish Mr. Wike well, and I'm not wishing him any evil, but I'm just stating my mind here, and I think it's becoming a bit too overbearing over these matters. Oluyole Youth Development strengthens ties with Yoruba Youth Council on Empowerment, Cultural Preservation. And Kwara government relocates NYSC camp to Kwara Poli, for security purpose.
Yes.
So with this headline being by a lot of parents who would be very apprehensive about letting their children go to Kwara for NYSC, definitely the government must have acted on intelligence reports, on credible intelligence reports.
Yes, I thought that there is this thing that Big Daddy showed me this morning about a particular guy. He sat down and wrote just a statement talking about names of bottles of beer. You know, yes, I don't want to mention the bottles of beer, but if I start reading, I just want to quickly read to show how Nigerians are intelligent. Then another one is a Nigerian student, Oluyole, who earned distinctions in 9 subjects. Yes, in Ireland. Yes.
The beer matter, why your reference to Big Daddy Kenneth Graham? Are you saying he's a friend of the brewing company?
No, I'm not saying that. Just called my attention to it. Okay. You may not be a hero or a star at 33, but the greatest gift you have got is life. Whenever the urge to quit sets in, just put on the attitude of a tiger and keep fighting, because a trophy is certain at the end. Well, we were talking before the program came up, and he said that Nigerians are brilliant. And I said, well, we are brilliant. Some others are brilliant when they will just come up with one creative venture or writing, and but some will be brilliant in the criminal aspect. You understand?
And that was inspirational. What you read just now.
Yes,
that was quite inspirational.
Now this one, the Nigerian student, like I said, Oluyole earned distinctions in 9 subjects at the O'Flyche Institute of Further Education in Ireland. Adeparusi undertook 9 courses at the Dundalk-based institute and finished with distinctions in all of them, placing her among the school's most outstanding achievers. Her record secured her admission into the prestigious Trinity College, Dublin, to study business, economics, and social studies for a combined honours degree. The feat has drawn commendations both within and outside the institute. Yes, quite encouraging.
Impressive.
Impressive.
I'm still talking about the Nigerian youth and the power of hope, perseverance, and how not to give up, even when all seems lost. Now, over 100 Agodi prison inmates graduate from PFN's reformative course. Over 100 inmates in Agodi Correctional Center of the Nigeria Correctional Service (NCS) have graduated from the 8 weeks intensive behavioral reformation course organized by the Prison Fellowship of Nigeria (PFN) Oyo State. The inmates who could not hide their joy at the graduation ceremony held at the Agodi prisons in Ibadan were seen dancing during a praise and worship session led by a team of singers. And speaking at the event, Chairman, Prison Fellowship of Nigeria Oyo State Chapter Festus Studio explained that the initiative tagged Prisoners Journey course was one of the many projects put in place by the group to actualize restoration, rehabilitation, and reintegration of the inmates. So these ones, when they serve out their term, they won't be criminals any longer. Whatever took them to prison, they will be better citizens. And I'm sure that fellowship is also not going to leave them alone. They are going to make sure that they have a sure means of livelihood, and they won't in any way be returning to crime. So that is a good one for me.
Yes, it is. Now there's this one, and well, I don't know what this person had done. There is a criminal act. At the same time, the person that did it, at least, well, we see it all about, talking about these dispatch riders, how they ride their motorcycles, their bikes, while going to deliver some things. Now it ended in a very bad mood yesterday. The Lagos State Police Command confirmed the arrest of a member of the National Union of Road Transport Workers in Lagos State, Shamsuddin Adio, for allegedly beating a dispatch rider to death in the Tapa Street, Lagos Island area of the state. And it was learned on Thursday that a scuffle had ensued between Adio and the dispatch rider over allegations that the latter had scratched the former's vehicle. A journalist and Facebook user, Chris Nwadu, who shared a video of the incident on Thursday, disclosed that it happened on Wednesday, and according to Nwadu, the situation degenerated when Adio, joined by his colleagues, descended on the dispatch rider and allegedly beat him to a pulp.
I know, Bimbo, the way, the kind of arrogance and again the powers of life and death which these transport union officers parade themselves and carry themselves.
Yes.
That dispatch rider could have been anybody. It could have been you or I. They don't care who you are, Bimbo. When you happen to get into an altercation with them, God help you. If you, or unless maybe you can quickly dobale and them to beg the babalaye. The next thing you see, thugs and miscreants descending on you. If they don't destroy, if you are lucky to escape, they will destroy your vehicle. If you are with a vehicle. So this is very rampant during the political era. Because the soldiers were able to rein them in to some extent when they were in government, but because they work hand in hand with the government and them with the politicians, and in any case, many of the politicians in political office too are actually from that constituency. Many of them are actually miscreants, educated miscreants, educated illiterates. Many of them that are in political office today. So of course they will protect their own when these things happen. I'll be surprised if anything comes out of this, Bimbo, because it must have been it must be a top official of the NURTW for him to have done that. But well, thank goodness for those states where their activities have been curbed, at least to some extent.
Yes, especially Oyo State.
Especially in Oyo State. And we thank God that has happened.
But at the same time, we should urge those dispatch riders, yes, to always be cautious when they deliver, when they go to deliver their goods to their customers, because most times here in Ibadan we see them, we see how they ride, and they are arrogant. Like, I'm sure that he was not willing to bend to the allegation that he was accused of scratching the car of that NURTW official.
Yes, Bimbo, agreed. That happened. Agreed. The man was careless. Anybody can be careless. Accidents can happen. That is no excuse for the area of the official to even lift his hand to hit him in the first place. Talk less of beating him to death.
Yes, you are correct. But he might have begged, but maybe he was not given allowed the chance of begging.
Even if the man was arrogant, even if the dispatch rider was not repentant, that is no excuse for him to get beaten to a pulp. Right, let's open the phone lines. Also 550-9850 or 70-5555-1985.
Hello, good morning.
Our first caller.
Good morning, Mr. Tola.
Good morning, Mr.
I'm Judy. I'm calling from Good morning. Now, let me I'll talk on 3 states, but let me start on the first one. DK and he came back when he was away, everybody was confused, but when he came back, one thing is, Nigerian politicians and leadership in this country want American laws for their incentives and package and allowance. But when it comes to dealing with their opponent, they want Chinese laws. So they want to combine the two. So they want to step like America, but at the same time, they want to use Chinese law for their subject. They can do very well. You that you are talking that because we are lucky to have a president and a democratic that people who are saying no nonsense should have been picked up and all that. Trump, Jerry used to watch press conferences on Trump. Look at how reporters used to master him with questions, and look at how he used to answer. In fact, it got to a state that it was practically fine. They were that you have what democracy is. Look at the British Parliament, look at what Nigeria, they don't want that. They don't want the Chinese draconian law. Kick him up, go and lock him up. But at the same time, they want the allowances of Americans. That's what they want. So they want to combine the two. Look at one money. Secondly, on the issue of a prison fellowship, I think it's a very good, and very good because I've experienced one thing before some years back, and I think it's very good. One thing is, but one thing, let me behind it. One thing is, most of those people who consider themselves as prison fellowship, they are Orthodox churches. Not about all, but most of all this, the Pentecostals, they are there too, but not all of them, and the prophets of us, this local prophets that we used to have around. All those local prophets and Pentecostals should do more. What did we hear about them, especially prophet prosperity and money that Jesus gave his mother to a rich man? That is not what gospel teaches. So gospel teaches us to help people and help the less privileged. So that's what they should do. So thank you. In particular, before I go, I want the government of Osun State to quickly go into the go between the Oluyole and the Asawja. That should stop immediately. The other one we experience, we don't want to experience it again. So thank you. Good morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I remember regarding the issue of freedom to criticize your leaders. Well, I don't agree. I don't support Mr. Showore's tagging of our president as a criminal. I remember the heat of the this I can't breathe saga. The man was murdered by a police officer. The black man was murdered by a police officer one time ago, and Mr. Trump was saying all sorts of things when people were protesting and rioting. A particular police chief in a particular state, he made a statement. He said, if the president doesn't know what to say, that he should keep his mouth shut.
Yes.
Imagine if a state commissioner of police had said that in this country.
He
said he should just keep his mouth shut. He doesn't know what to say.
Hello, good morning. Oh, well, we lost that. You can call back. 0055009850 or 07055551985. Hello, good morning.
Peace of God to you, Bimbola and Tola.
Amen, sir. Peace of God to you too.
I did who is calling from Okeo.
Yes, thank you, Baba.
But with on Fubawa matter, just like Tola has rightly quoted that Yoruba proverb, if the drum is being beaten and it's sounding and over sounding, it will soon sound its last as if it burst. Alájàmù ìgbàgbá níjò ń lọ sílé àná ọgbà ló máa dé. Alábàámu ìgbàgbá ló di jóun bá tẹ́. People should listen. They should learn from history. The world does not belong to a single person. I'm counseling you. If you have any friend among the listeners, let him be cautious. Let him be warned. To be forewarned is to be forearmed. Billions of naira electricity project funds. Former Minister of Power under probe again, Mr. Oluyole. When shall we get things right in this country? If Oluyole is guilty, why should it take so long a time to settle the matter? If he is guilty, let him be brought to book. And if not, let him be set free. Justice delayed is justice denied. And lastly, NEC opposing establishment of state police. The what does it have for security? What solution does it provide? Without security, there is nothing. I pray we'll be wise. Thank you, Adedado from Okeo. God bless you.
Yeah, thank you, Baba.
Thank you very much.
082 5500985 070 55551985.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Tola, Mr. Bimbo.
Good morning, Mr. John.
John calling from Ilori.
Good to have you, sir.
On River State, our class captain, Baba Didayo, has said it all. We should trade with care. In as much as that I love him to some extent, he's a workaholic. But when you talk too much, and most of the things you say are quite irrelevant. We want peace in River State. Now the governor did not show up for the comeback. Definitely there are issues to still be sorted out. River State needs peace. And he should not be talking as if he owns River State. No, River State owns him. River State owns him. So every platform where he has become something today, it is through River State foot and not the other way around. So he should be careful. He should be careful because one day it will be out of power and what comes around goes around. Lastly, on the issue of my senator, Natasha, Akpabio should allow this woman to resume. This woman has been rendering to people as it's being reduced every day now. I think he has been using his own personal money for the past few months. And now it is being difficult for people he has been helping. Even in my local government of Gorimagogo, this woman was not suspended by the court. It was after he was suspended, the case was in court. So those who suspend him should know his suspension has expired and she needs to return. And when she returns, either they withdraw the case or they fight it on. That's the difference in entirely. Enjoy your day, sir. Good morning.
Thank you. 082 5500985 070 55551985.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. My name is Ekele Balabi from Lakasheporo. I just want to comment on the Fubara who delayed the returns. From my own point of view, I'll be envisaging that. Because how can you resume to be working in the midst of opposition when all the majority in the House of Assembly are members of APC, while Fubara accepts the PDP? 20 local government, out of 20 local government, 3 belong to PDP, while 20 belong to APC. Even will be contemplated to return or to return because this resumption will be like just a big end. See the statement of a weekend, he said if you want this emergency to be extended, you won't have done that. He's talking as if he's Mr. President. Secondly, I like the comment of a River State Assembly who said they are going to probe the expedition of Depot. About 500 billion was spent under 6 months. They want to probe whether his expedition is transparency, there's accountability, probity in his civilizated spending. Because I like with the colleague of River State Assembly last day because it is what I tell you, I don't think anything can come out of it. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. A marketer has asked us to increase pump price by 75 naira before buying from the gantry. That's coming from Dangote Refinery.
Well,
Hello, good morning.
good morning.
Good morning, Alaji.
This is Alaji Ayelagogo, calling from Alate.
So, sir.
It's so staggering that the National Union gives an Okada rider to the point of death. See the kind of life they are using in the motor garage over there. They turn themselves as strength. They can do and undo. In fact, John has to take his position and he should serve as a detail because the man scratched his car. He started to beat him to the point of death. That is cruelty. That is human. That is crime. He should be dealt with justice. Now, on Fubara, I think enough is enough for Ruki. But I believe Fubara, some people are saying that Fubara is a PDP man. we soon become an APC. Let's go and write it down. Why? His organ is more or less an APC man. Then the whole House of Assembly, local government, they are APC. So that means indirectly it's also an APC. So by saying that we cannot work in the midst of these people, we also will soon become a APC man. Thank you, Alaji.
Thank you very much.
No, Bimbo, I don't want to throw away Alaji's words. Maybe that is the last condition for him to fulfill, and maybe the I's and the T's are being dotted as we speak. And maybe that's why he did not show up yesterday. And Mr. Wike is claiming as if he knows why he did not resume, and as if he's the one that is going to determine when he's going to resume.
He said he spoke with him that he will resume.
He said he didn't put a timeline.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Oluyole from Ede.
Good to have you, sir.
Please, permit me to analyze this thing in Yoruba.
Please go ahead.
Ṣé èèyàn bá ń jí ọbẹ̀ ìyá rẹ̀ tọ́ fún yàn wá fún mi? Tí bá ń jí ọbẹ̀ ìyá rẹ̀ tọ́ wá fún mi, tí n bá ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ tó ní, màá tọ́jú ìsásùn mi dáadáa o. Torí pé kọ́mọ̀ bá jí ọbẹ̀ tèmi náà lọ kù fún ẹni ẹlẹ́ni. Ní tí ń ṣẹlẹ̀ Wike ó ti kọ́ yẹ kí Wike ó ti mọ̀ pé Tinubu gan ó ti máa bẹ̀rù òun. Yóò sì kí ní òun gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọ̀dàlẹ̀. Gbogbo ìgbà gbogbo ọ̀nà ni ó sì máa fi sọ́ra fún un. Torí pé èèyàn bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ èèyàn á máa fà yí ọjọ́ ọjà lẹ̀. Tinubu ti máa fà yí ọjọ́ ọjà lẹ̀ fún Wike gangan báyìí. Ìgbà tí ìgbà ni Wike yìí bọ́ ẹ̀ka àrọ̀.
Ọ̀rọ̀ àgbà.
Words of wisdom. Before that story we read in primary school, the giants Ohumo here and one Oba who was afraid of his one of his warriors, and the giant helped him to kill the warrior. The husband was fleeing from the warrior when the giant intervened. At some point, the giant started laughing at the Oba. So the Oba now devised a trick. He said there's something very beautiful on the ground. He wanted the giant to bend down to look at that beauty on the ground. The giant bends down foolishly, and the Oba cut off his head. I tried to summarize the story.
Yes.
So I don't remember that story.
Yes, I remember.
NOEC.
NOEC, yes. NOEC. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, I'm Adimola from Ibadan.
Good to have you.
On your Fubara, your River State and all that. You see, Fubara was famous, and people complained, they protested, and we struggled through that Fubara should come back, and he was very stated. So Fubara need to ensure happiness welfare. It should resume, and it should come up with appropriation bills concerning the budget, accountability, budget, and projects. So you need to move forward. And then Shumure and others and the President Tinubu. You see, the principle of check and balances makes government conscious. And President Tinubu is conscious. He's focusing on corruption, welfare, security, and all that. So, and there's not to do on welfare. So, Tinubu should do the needful, and Shumure should cooperate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All right, check the time is 7:30, and we have to go. Been an interesting time on conversation, and we will be back same time tomorrow morning, God willing. My name is Tola Teriba.
And my name is Bimbo Akonbi. Thank you very much for listening. Enjoy your day.
Conversation.
gbogbo ènìyàn ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ló mọ rírì ètò ìṣèjọba omi tuntun lábẹ́ ìṣàkóso ọlọ́lá jùlọ gómìnà Olúṣèyí Abíọ́dún Mákindé pàápàá lẹ́ka ètò ìlera tó pójú owó pẹ̀lú báwọn ọmọdé aláboyún àtàwọn ìyálọ́mọ tí wà lálàáfíà ní ìtẹ̀síwájú àgbéyé àti àwòyè àṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀bí oúnjẹ fọ́mọ tuntun jòjòló lómi ọyàn ìyá rẹ̀ fóṣù mẹ́fà àkọ́kọ́ ní kété ìbímọ láàrin wákàtí kan ìgbẹ̀bí ọmọ rẹ̀ nílé ìwòsàn gbọ́mọ tuntun jòjòló sọ́yàn fún ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ ìjípépé ọpọlọ okun àti agbára lẹ́yìn eléyìí fọ́mọ rẹ̀ lọ́yàn pọ́nbélé láì